Hello friends, so today we are going to talk about inversions of single slider crank mechanism. Okay, so inversion of single slider crank mechanism. Although in previous videos we have discussed about what is inversion and inversion of a mechanism, so in this lecture or video we will consider a very important inversion of a single slider crank mechanism. It is quick return mechanism. Quick return mechanism. Okay, basically there are two types of quick return mechanism. One is crank and slotted lever type crank mechanism. Okay, quick return mechanism. And another one is uh, Whitworth quick return mechanism. Okay, both of these mechanisms, quick return mechanism, are used in shaping machines, shaping tools of machines, and slotting machines. Okay, but this crank and slotted lever type is also used in rotating internal combustion engines, rotary and IC engines. Okay, so they have wide applications in these mechanisms. You might have seen a shaping machine. If you haven't seen, then I'll post a video on that. Okay, so first of all let us draw its diagram. So this one is the fixed link. Okay, fixed link, and this one is the slotted bar. Okay, slotted bar. Here it is attached with the ram, in which ram is attached with the tool. Okay, it is the tool, and it moves along this path. Now what happens, when it moves forward, then it traces this path. Okay, and when it moves backward of this, then it will trace this path. So this is the maximum and minimum positions of this slotted bar. Say it is P1 and it is P2. Okay, and this is its stroke length R1, and it is the maximum R2. When it moves forward, then it is used for cutting, or say cutting stroke, and when it moves backward, then it is called the return stroke. Now let's discuss how does it works. So here in this mechanism, this is A and this is C. AC forms a turning pair which is fixed, and here C is attached with a slider which is inside this slotted bar, and when it rotates, it traces a path. Okay, I have drawn it very bad. Suppose this is a circle that it forms. Okay, now what happens, when it moves from this position to this, what happens is that this is the point B. Okay, now when it moves downward, when it slides downward, then it will attain this position. Okay, say it will be over here, so say B1, and when it moves forward, like this, then it will reciprocate over here about this fixed point A. This is hinged over here. So here CB acts as a crank. Then when it rotates, now the slider rotates with this slotted bar, and due to that it moves in the moves in making circle, and due to that it will move downward and upward while moving clockwise or anti-clockwise. So due to its sliding in this slotted bar, there is a reciprocating motion that we obtain in this toolbar or RAM. Okay, so this is the tool. What happens when it moves forward? It cuts, and when it moves return, then it would be then it doesn't cut at that time. So cutting stroke is the forward stroke. Okay, forward stroke is the cutting stroke, and return stroke is faster than the forward stroke, so it is also called quick return. Okay, so the time required for coming back to its initial position is very fast. This is that is why it is called quick return mechanisms. Okay, now next, although this part is very important for the gate as well, because it was asked in 2003. There was a question asked that what kind of inversion is the quick return mechanism. So it is a single slider crank mechanism, or it is an inversion of single slider crank mechanism. And there may be another question could be asked from this topic, so study it properly. This is B1, this is B2, and this is the fixed link. Fixed link is link 3. Okay, and this one is link 4, and this is slider, so it is link 1 slider, and this one is link 2. Link 2. This is tool, this is line of stroke. So here in this video we will also calculate the line of stroke length. What is the length what would be the length of R1 R2. And so suppose when it moves from this position to this position, while it is cutting in the forward stroke, it moves from CB1 to CB2. Okay, so CB1 to CB2 while cutting or in forward stroke. Okay, so what would happen in this time? It cuts the workpiece. Okay, so let us say that it is angle alpha. So forward stroke we have angle alpha, and the return stroke would be CB2 to CB1. CB2 to CB1. So here we can see that it is covering a very small angle. For that, so it would take lesser time. So it is the return stroke, and say it is beta. Okay, now here we can write that time of cutting stroke to the time of return stroke in terms of angle. Okay, so what would be? It will be in the proportional ratios, as it is taking time in sometime t1 in this and sometime t2 for this. So it would be proportional to angles over here. So it would be alpha upon beta, and here it is beta is 360 minus alpha. So we can write it down, alpha upon 360 minus alpha. So this would be the ratio for that, and either we can write it as alpha as 360 minus beta upon beta. Both are the same. Now let us calculate its line of stroke, length of stroke. Okay, so length of stroke, you can also say that it is the tool travel distance, that how much this tool travels in between the cutting and the return stroke. So how can we calculate that? So for that, let us write it down. R1 R2, you have to find out R1 R2. So here we can see that R1 R2 is equal to P1 P2. If you will recapitulate and think a little bit in your mind, that it would be equal to P1 and P2 would be equal to R1 R2. So P1 P2. Although I have worse drawing, but it will be somewhere over here. P1 would be, so it would be dividing it into equal parts. Say it is some point Q. Okay, so we could write it down as 2 times of P1Q. Let us Now let us draw one another diagram for this. Okay, suppose it is for the crank, and it's like this over here. Set. So here we can see that this is angle alpha, this is angle beta. So what it would be, it would be beta by 2, it would be it will also beta by 2 now, and we have this attached over here. So this is the path that is traveled by the slotted bar. Okay, so suppose it is over here, right, at some point it would be over here at some time, it would be so over here at some time. So when it moves at the topmost position, then it would be at P1 point, and when it would be at the cutting stroke maximum, then it would be at this position. Okay, so we have to find out this value P1Q. Okay, because we have 2 times P1Q, so P1Q would be equal to A. So this would be, if this angle is some, say it is some angle X. Okay, so what would be the sine of X? Sine of X would be perpendicular upon hypotenuse, so P1Q upon AP1. So we have got P1Q equal to AP1 into sine X. Okay, we have to find out this angle X. So as it is beta by 2, okay, it is beta by 2, so I have a very good drawing. Okay, so this is beta by 2, then what it would be, it is, as it is 90, then what it would be, it would be 9 beta 90 minus beta by 2. So we could write it down as AP1 sine 90 minus beta by 2. So it would be cos beta by 2, AP1 cos beta by 2. So we can put it down, put it at this in this equation, and we'll obtain some, we'll put it in this equation. Okay, now what will obtain, so it would be 2 times AP, or say AP1 cos beta by 2. Now what can we write out, write beta by 2, cos beta by 2. So cos beta by 2 is equal to base upon hypotenuse. So this would be the base and this will be the hypotenuse. So it would be, this point is C, this one is B1, this is B2, so CB1 upon AC. So it would be 2 times AP CB1 upon AC. Okay, we can see one thing in this equation, that the length of stroke depends on 3 things: CB1, AC and AP. Okay, this is the AC fixed length. If we'll increase this length, then we could decrease the length of stroke. This CB1, so it is dependent on the crank length, and AP, it is the slotted bar. So if we want to decrease or increase the length of stroke, then we could change AC or any of these 3. Okay, so this is it. Thank you for watching.